All right, let's get on with it. Top of the morning to you. Let's roll right into our topic today, which is about healing. So I'm going to start out with this. The certain are perfectly calm because they are not in doubt. Now, upon hearing this, the thought may cross one's mind that this person just is in their head. They don't think much. They don't go deep. But that's not the case. That's not the person I'm talking about. This person is certain, and this holds them in perfect peace because they know what they are. Now, what you project, you believe. In heaven, however, there is no belief. There is only certainty. There is no learning, as all is known. And when Jesus said, when Jesus said, I am always with you, he meant it literally. He is not absent to anyone in any situation. And because he is always with you, you are the way, the truth, and the life. Now, you did not make this power any more than he did. It was created to be shared and thus cannot belong to anyone at the expense of another. When you have moments of idle time, look for the kingdom of heaven within, because that is where the laws of God operate truly. And they can operate only truly because they are the laws of truth. It's like, duh. But look only for this. Seek only this, the kingdom of heaven, that is, because you can find nothing else anyway. And that's because there is nothing else. So let's transition into healing. The unhealed healer obviously does not understand his own vocation. Isn't that a great statement? We have people on this planet who consider themselves healers. They are allopathic, they are holistic. Doctors on one side, energy workers and the like on the other side. And they are both sick. They seemingly can take care of others, but not themselves. Yet healing is the one ability we can develop and must develop if we are to be healed. Healing is Spirit's way of communicating in this world. And that's because only the mind can get sick. Now, most of us believe healing is of the body and has only to do with the body, but that's a very egotistical way of thinking. It's egotistical because by crediting the body with the ability to heal, we are stating that the body is causative. And in reality, it is resultative, an effect. It is an effect of what is causative. That would be the mind. The mind either creates or makes. It creates when aligned with spirit. It makes when aligned with ego. Either way, the mind is causative. When aligned with spirit, miracles can occur. Why? Because when we are aligned with spirit, we are in our right mind, our creative mind, and can therefore heal. Now remember what a miracle is. It is simply a change of mind. Remember that. Don't ever forget that one. Now, when in the wrong mind, we usually remain transfixed in that state and never even think to change our mind, that we may benefit from a different result. Instead, we plow ahead, usually, attempting to work on the effect, the body, rather than work on the cause, the mind. As a result, instead of a miracle, we must work magic. We must work with magic. What is magic? Anything that is outside the mind. Drugs, herbs, body work, surgery, remedies of any kind that we put on the body or put in the body, all are forms of magic. They are outside the mind and they involve the body. And because of our belief systems, when we have body work done on us, say by a massage therapist, it feels good. It releases tension, alleviates pain and discomfort. I'm not discounting that. But it does this because we believe it does this. Therefore, it does this. We are powerful, and we either create or make whatever we believe. That means that whatever we believe, we become. Whatever we believe happens. The body will reflect that, as it always does. Whereas healing only strengthens, magic, however, always tries to weaken our spirit, for instance, and keep our beliefs the way they are and where they are. Spirit perceives nothing in the healer that is any different than what is in anyone else. But the ego always sees something special in the healer, something different. And we, having grown up with the teachings of the ego, are always looking for something or someone special. And that's the last thing we should be doing. But we do it thinking we are doing the right thing for ourselves. So the unhealed healer is in compliance with the ego and thus very inconsistent. But spirit is never inconsistent, does not work by chance, and always heals. Just like love is always consistent and incapable of exception. Only if there is fear does the idea of exception seem meaningful. Exceptions are fearful because they are made by fear. The unhealed healer is a fearful healer, and a contradiction in terms, and is therefore a concept that only a conflicted mind could possibly perceive as meaningful. Now, fear does not gladden. Healing does. Fear always makes exceptions. Healing never does. Fear produces dissociation because it induces separation. Healing always produces harmony because it proceeds from integration. As we can hear two voices in our heads, so to speak, so it is that we can see in two different ways. One way shows us an image that we may worship out of fear, but we will never love it. The other shows us only truth, which we will love because we will understand it. Understanding is appreciation, because what we understand we can appreciate and then identify with, and by making it part of us, we can accept it and love it. That is how God Himself created us, in understanding, in appreciation, and in love. Healing involves an understanding of what the illusion of sickness is for. Otherwise, healing is impossible without this understanding. Healing is accomplished the instant the sufferer no longer sees any value in pain. After all, who would choose suffering unless he thought it would bring something, and something of value? That person must think that suffering is a small price to pay for something of greater worth. Sickness is an election, a decision. It is the choice of weakness in the mistaken belief that it's strength. When this occurs, real strength is seen as threat and health as danger. All you got to do is be a psychologist to know that. Healing must occur in exact proportion to which the valuelessness of sickness is recognized. So let me say that another way. Healing occurs in inverse proportion to our realization that being sick is stupid, dumb, ignorant, a waste of time, and of little importance. A person only needs to say, there is no gain at all for me in this, and he is healed. But to say this, one must first recognize certain facts. First, decisions are of the mind, not the body. You're listening to this and perhaps saying to yourself, of course decisions are of the mind, but you're not living that way many times. If sickness is but a faulty problem-solving approach, it is a decision. And if it is a decision, it is the mind and not the body that makes it. The resistance to recognizing this is enormous, because the existence of the entire world as we perceive it depends on the body being the decision maker. Terms like instincts and reflexes, or my intuition, and the like represent attempts to endow the body with non-mental motivators. Actually, such terms merely state or describe the problem. They do not answer it. So the acceptance of sickness as a decision of the mind for a purpose for which it would use the body is the basis of healing. I'm going to say that again. The acceptance of sickness as a decision of the mind for a purpose for which it would use the body is the basis of healing. And this is so for healing in all forms. A patient decides that this is so, and he or she recovers. If she decides against recovery, she will not be healed. So who is the physician then? Only the mind of the patient is. The outcome is only what is decided it is. Drugs and surgery seem to be ministering to that person, yet they only give form to the choice that person made. In other words, that person chooses them in order to bring tangible form to their choice. And it is this, nothing else, that is effective. They, the drugs in this case, are not actually needed at all. Dr. David Hawkins demonstrated this principle in one surgery after another. He never allowed drugs to be administered even when his body was opened up and he was on the operating table. But most of us are not of like mind, and so we don't believe that. We say, oh, I could never do that. We believe we are a body that requires healing because, after all, it's the body that is giving us the problem and causing the pain. This has to be rectified, and for most, that solution is drugs. Now, the drug of choice for another person could be his belief in herbs as the remedy. Those herbs will therefore be given special powers in the mind of the consumer, and thus seem to heal, seem to be helpful, just like the drug seems to heal the person who believes in drugs. So to move from the beliefs of where we presently are as individuals on this path entails the realization that we are not individuals, that we are not alone, that we are not a body, and that the body does not make decisions. This shift in perception is all that is required in order to move forward and realize that sickness is of the mind and has nothing to do with the body. What does this recognition cost us? It costs us the whole world we see, for our world will never again appear to rule the mind. With this recognition is responsibility placed where it belongs, not with the world, but on us who look on the world and see it as it is not. Let's face it, we look on what we choose to see. Nothing more and no less. Projection makes perception. The world does nothing to us, we only thought it did. Nor do we do anything to the world, because we were mistaken about what it is. So it is here, at this stage, in the process of changing our mind, from the way we have always thought to a slightly different way, that we are released from sickness, and guess what else? From guilt too, for they are both the same. One goes with the other. Sickness accompanies guilt. They are never seen alone. Yet to accept this, the insignificance of the body must be an acceptable idea. This change of mind brings about the abolishment of pain in one's life. But this is a total change in mind, not just, I think I'm going to change. Placing cause and effect in true sequence helps us to generalize and transform the world within our minds. So the cause is the mind, the effect is the body. And the value of this one simple change is without limit. What do guilt and sickness, pain, disaster, and suffering mean now to the person who has changed his mind? Having no purpose, they are gone from his awareness. And with them also go all the effects they seem to cause. Cause and effect only replicate creation. Seen in their proper perspective, without distortion and without fear, they reestablish heaven on earth. Healing is always certain when you change your mind. So with that, I leave you. And I thank you for joining in. Have a good day.